Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, week 3 on the Freak Show Weekly, as it's been rebranded. As always, I'm Patrick, and with me is Will Jerome.
Hello. Good evening.
What's up, man? So you maybe can tell, maybe can't. We have upgraded the platform to Riverside. Shout out Riverside, and
Hey.
hopefully Will's audio.
Shout out Riverside.
Yeah, hopefully Will's audio comes through.
Shout out Riverside.
Shout out Riverside.
Now the fact that they turn on for you. It's these types of amenities we didn't get with our previous setup.
With whatever that was. So, but
blessings to whoever recommended Spotify.
Yeah, that was Dima at Bakker's wedding. So before we get into it, I'll just say shout out to Bakker. Congratulations, bud. Great time on Sunday. And what I really appreciated was being at a wedding with friends instead of watching my fantasy team completely.
Pretty refreshing.
Pretty freeing. It was nice to just be with homies and not watch whatever that was on Sunday. So
live in the moment. Don't chase Jags slant runs, your slant patterns. You're getting 20 from Kirk. Derek's fired up. We can't miss important moments for that.
No, yeah. Where was Derek? Derek, where were you?
Missing important moments because his team was performing. And we'll get to Derek eventually. Derek's one of the few guys who has what I would call a dearth of depth.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm using that correctly, but he's one of the few guys who's bolstered on the bench.
Yeah, you said it with confidence, and that's all you need in this life.
Common theme.
A little bit of confidence.
Common theme. And by the way, Derek was particularly missed in his one wedding gag. Let's not cruise past it. Thanks for not coming, dude. You would have ruined it if you did that shit.
Yeah, well, I believe we were able to FaceTime him whilst the band, which absolutely rocked, played shouts.
An incredible presence virtually, though. And we'll get to Derek and Rob's distance. We will meet up this season. We're going to do a live pod with a live audience.
It's going to be tremendous. Yeah,
we're planning.
You had a good story though, didn't you, about your Sunday travels? So you had no excuses. You made the event.
I did make the event. I actually bought the in-flight Wi-Fi. I paid $15 for like 2 hours to ensure that I could pick up Roquan Smith and do some other things.
And where
matter in the end. And I'm out 15, but I wouldn't be able to stomach a delay or we're circling still. Sorry. And then I don't know. I've got something going on that I don't want. I'll give up real money. Not fab, though.
Not fab money. But where were you? You were in, what, Texas that morning?
I was in Austin. I was talking to Goodell and the guys about, hey, this is one of the biggest cities in the country. Let's bring an NFL squad here. Jacksonville's a joke. Have you ever been there? It's a joke. And they've got the prince who was promised. Who I thought, after your proclamation, maybe I thought you were out ahead of your skis, really, really performed.
He's awesome.
On the bench.
I'm excited. Yeah, I didn't. It's funny because I we'll get into it later, but
we'll get into it.
I just thought hey man, Chargers had 10 days to prep. Even though Justin wasn't healthy, I was like, you know what, you got to go from Jacksonville to LA, big win but big win at home for the young Jags team. I was like, this won't be the week to start Trev, and there he was, 30 burger on the road, smashed up that was a blowout. That game was 38-10. And
Peterson, he's a real Trevor sayer.
Yeah, he's.
Let's get to the matchups because this week we're all about brevity, we're about impact, we're about value. So when you listen to this, when you guys rise and grind tomorrow, when you listen to this shit, you're going to perform because we're trying to perform for you. So let's start at the bottom.
Yeah,
at least for me and for most of us, the matchup we all care about. It's the 3-0 man himself. The luckiest man, the genie in the bottle Gotti.
Yeah.
Versus new nuptial Nick Conlon, who, I think this is a matchup that's going to really reset the tables because let's not forget, Nick is 2-1. Nick's got a powerful team thus far. He beats Rob. Rob will never overtake him again this season.
I like, I think these are two hot teams right now, but this Josh, the game of the week is going to be Baltimore-Buffalo, man. I mean, Baltimore's secondary has proved that they can get lit up by anyone. And, Josh Allen's coming off a tough loss. So we got the two front runners for the MVP with 3 weeks in. maybe you could throw 2 in there. But Josh and Lamar, I think it's going to be a really fun track meet. Little things like this, they should make some sort of like change to the schedule. I know it's all locked in with networks and shit, but like the NFL and college, fuck that. College, they decide the week prior. Like this game should be a Sunday night game. They need to flex this within the week. So, college football, Sunday they decide where game day's going, who's got the primetime games. Have a flexible schedule, Goodell.
Counterpoint. Can't we just enter the day without Red Zone and just watch a ball game?
It's hard
hit
to
us
do.
with a primetime match at lunch. But let's actually get into the other side. He's got Kyler Murray, and I think a lot of people are coming into the year. Kyler Murray's a top 5 guy, probably.
Not me.
Whoa.
You know me. I'm not a Kyler guy, but
the pocket passer.
He's 3-0
guy. He's a Pickett guy.
3-0 in the league.
Guy. But Kyler in a matchup this week against Carolina, who have looked immensely butt. Is this
dude? I don't know what to. That's another. Like I watched so little of Carolina, even when they played the Giants. Like I can't figure this team out. Like this is the theme of week 3 for me, or podcast 3 for me. Is I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at each Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, Baker has made the weapons on Carolina like unusable.
Useless. Yeah.
Like DJ Moore.
Week 1 though was pretty fun. Everyone was getting fed. Everyone was
but after that it was like, but anyway, this isn't about Baker. This isn't about the Panthers. This is about Kyler going up against that Panthers defense. And when Rob's getting hot, I think Rob may stay hot this week. I feel like
it feels like a 39-point Kyler week. It feels like Kyler's going to like run for 1, throw for 3. It's how I feel in my bones. But it's actually more about the questionable man, injured guy already for how many times so far?
It's a different injury, yeah.
Let's actually open up an IR slot for questionable guys, for guys who are just practice guys, a partial practice slot. Because this guy has been pretty good. I mean, honestly, he's run for over 100 yards in back-to-back games. Is Christian back, Pat? Is Christian back?
You know what's funny, man, is he never left. He never left. Like, even, like, I'm just looking at it now.
He was good when he was hurt, you're saying?
Even when he was hurt, he looked good in shorts. He looked good on the sidelines. But I didn't realize, like, he's low double digits every single week. And for high-priced running backs, no wonder Rob is 3-0. I didn't realize that. Everyone who paid north of 55 for a running back would kill for double digits 3 weeks in a row. Like, no one else has done that. So
it's elite. And, I mean, who's almost double digits 3 weeks in a row as well? Brees. Do you think his parents meant to name him Bruce? And
Bruce or Brees? Like,
he slipped.
Kind of a silly
name. His name's Brees. I don't know.
Maybe it was a slip on the birth certificate. But
I think Brees looks really good. I've taken in far more YouTube-based Jets content than I care to admit, because of what I'm tethered to. We're going to cover this later. But Brees looks good.
Tethered too. That's funny. But look, Zach Wilson comes this week, and you know what's interesting? Zach Wilson's going to change the whole fucking game plan because we don't know what we're getting with year 2 Zach. Obviously, I think he's healthy. But sneaky thing about the Steelers is they kind of stink against the run. Like, that's very un-Steeler-like. Even, like, when Watt's healthy. Like,
and Zach can scamper. Zach can trot.
Well, we'll see. I'm not optimistic about the Jets going into.
Do you think that it's fair to say that the number 2 pick overall last year, who was hurt last year, had some underwhelming performances, talent's still there, right? You still believe in your young boy, has an off season of weird MILF stuff, and then
nothing weird about it.
His frankly, DILF backup, Joe Flacco, is the talk of New York at the quarterback position, 59 attempts a game. And people are like, Zach, the number 2 pick last year, damn it, he's back from injury. It's insane. It's an insane thing.
Well, I will say this. The offense looked functional at times with Joe Flacco, who just doesn't give a shit. So we'll see what Zach can do because he's got the arm talent. But, like, all I have to go on from Zach is a bad rookie year and then, like, 2 abysmal preseason drives. Like, he threw a bad pick and then got hurt. I remember I had a nice bottle of wine, cooked myself a little steak dinner and said...
Preseason, it's back, baby.
I was like, Jets on a Friday night.
Enjoy.
It was fucking miserable. I was like, I hadn't even had a glass of wine yet, and Zach was hurt and maybe out for the year.
Till I've had my Zinfandel.
Till I've had a nice. That's
the type of content you guys relate with that out there in the Freak Show. I do.
It was. So anyway, I like Brees this week for Rob. I think Rob's got the Mike Williams love, and Houston, not a great secondary. I think that'll be kind of fun for Rob to have Mike Williams and Brandon Cook play against each other. You love a game where both the number one
favorable commentary. I mean, having Brandon Cooks against any team, I don't think is fun. But
I just mean in the sense of when you get to watch a game and everyone's on offense for you. Like it doesn't matter who has the ball. Right. You're rooting for points, and I find those to be the most fun. But
I mean, he lives in LA. He can find that game locally. That's probably just on TV.
What's sneaky about Rob's team is the double up with Hollywood Brown and Kyler. That's kind of nice. So he's a sneaky Cardinals fan, similar to Ted with the Ravens double up. We would have a different bird double up with Kyler and Hollywood.
I'm sure he'd like to upgrade a little bit, but look, honestly, if I may, next team is going to just trounce these guys. That's where my money's going.
Yeah, Olave's fucking good, man. And,
Olave's good.
You have a Sunday morning game, so who knows what that's going to look like.
That's so lovely, by the way. But back to what I was saying, we're going to cover it later, the West Coast guys. You weren't at Bakker's wedding.
No.
You're just waking up, preening in the morning, breakfast still, NFL's on. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
You have to wait until late lunch.
Oh, screw them. You know what? They're West Coast guys. They're living laid back. We're high stress East Coast guys. We are in your face and we are up early.
Before we talk about Bakker's running back follies, do you think they're going to honor the Queen this Sunday morning?
That's a great question.
The Saint,
America,
Church and State. Though, think about it. The Saints are playing. The Saints are coming in, baby.
Anyway, I don't.
Gillett and Jones, both bad.
Well, Jones had a goal line fumble last week, which really hurt them. And you got
anomalous, you might say.
He's not a fumbler. Yeah, that's interesting. So it's okay. So AJ Dillon, he had the good opener, and then the last 2 weeks, he's certainly been the second hand man in the backfield to Aaron. And if Aaron doesn't fumble there, he's looking at a great, maybe a 12-point game. How does math work? 4 + 8 is there it is.
If he knew it was good for him, he would take one of these guys out, roll the big dice, and put Dortch in.
No, Michael Carter.
And he would steal those Kyler touches because you know he's looking at his boy Dortch. You get a Dortch touchdown, you get a Dortch touchdown.
This week, he's a darling.
If you had to start Dortch against Kyler, has to be the best start, right?
I think the best start of the year. It would take points away from Kyler, and I wonder what time it is for Nick right now. What country he's in?
I think you bench Pitts for Dortch in this one. Because if Pitts doesn't get a touchdown, which is realistic, that stinks. But if Dortch does get a touchdown, it helps.
I think I would maybe just do a 2 running back and put Dortch in there and keep Pitts on the field. I'm a big Pitts guy. Pitts had some love last week. Like I said, I wasn't able to watch the games, but got the YouTube 15-minute highlights. Yeah, and Kyle Pitts is just so I want him. Fuck.
Wilson was solid too. I mean, he's got 3 starting running backs, but. Yeah, that was a lot of running backs. He's got the maximum running backs, I think. I don't think that Bakker can pick up. I don't think he can drop Ravens D and pick up a running back based on our rules.
He's got a very different backfield situation than yours truly. But look, he's got the bell of the ball. He has Jamar. He has the $65 man, the second overall.
Jamar has been the 15th overall wide receiver. He was being drafted or auctioned as
he was a number 2 guy. He was number 2 in our league. Yeah, second. He was 65, I think. McCaffrey.
That's just because of an overpay for Justin, I think.
Dude, he's got the most. I think he has the most targets in the league. I think Jamar Chase has the most targets in the league.
That might be like Tyler Higbee, dude. But anyway, listen. Let's move on because I think these guys are going to have a really, gritty matchup this week.
I like whatever the over is. I'm betting it here. I think even the Eagles' the Eagles' defense against Jacksonville. We'll get there later, but I like everyone. Both teams are starting.
I'm buying that Rob will finally have a high-scoring week because even Ezekiel Elliott,
we can lose. This will be like a 140 to 130.
Even Ezekiel Elliott looked good, and I think that everybody on a box team is primed to pop.
I agree. And Josh had a tough loss last week, and he did. He's bouncing back. So Josh Allen expect a big game against Baltimore.
He did
on the road.
Now let's talk about maybe the most opposite teams in the league, the most opposite matchup that you can find this week in terms of circumstance. That's the 0-3 Greg Curti. That's the 0-3 Comrag.
Yeah. Which, by the way, just an A+ an A plus image.
Very good.
With the Riley Reid. So shout out to Greg.
And just want to throw it to the audience for Pat knowing who that porn star was.
Shout out to, how do you not know who that is? Oh, yeah. Yeah. How do you not know who that is?
The group loves it. I've seen the meme. I can't place the face, but we're talking comrade versus, pornographically speaking, ass Etienne season.
Okay.
Great team names on both sides of the ball here. Great quarterbacks, and I would say just culturally, opposite ends of the spectrum. So
Okay.
a lot of fat guys in Do Not Tread on Me country who are like, Tom does it the right way. Rightfully. You're going to have people keeping Lamar down. And really, he's the future of the sport.
He's the number one player in fantasy right now.
Number one player in fantasy. Hard to play against if you're.
He's very good. Lamar Jackson's very good, but I like that. I like that. The good old boy Tom Brady versus the young face of the league and Lammy Jackson.
It's not just our fantasy league; it's a country. It's a country behind us. And
I kind of like this. I kind of like just going like comparing quarterbacks, comparing running backs, comparing receivers. Like maybe we can do it that way.
Let's actually press record now. Here, okay.
Oh, you want to start? Okay,
let's start now. Okay,
and
all right,
go.
And now, okay, we've got a couple sound effects here, but
Nailed it.
I think that Tom Brady's going to have a really nice week because he gets Hall of Famer Mike Evans back in the fold. And frankly, Mike Evans was going to do his best damage in years against Lattimore had he not, acted a fool. He's getting targeted deep, which you said he would never be targeted again. Mike Evans is going to give Tom Brady a 30-plus day. Put it in.
I really feel like Tom Brady is the kind of guy to be like, hey, Mike, I love that you tried to fight a cornerback for me.
I'm going to feed you.
30, 40 targets, yeah. So I like that a lot.
We probably brought him to his house and was like, look, I'll give you one of my vacation homes, Mike.
How do you think the well, you know what? It's out of our hands. It's Wednesday. We don't know what the weather's going to be like. But notice that Tampa Bay is hosting the game in potential hurricane conditions. What do you think that'll do if there's any effect?
So I don't think that they would cancel the game. I do not think that they would cancel the game.
Okay.
Which is tricky because you're basically saying to the people in Tampa Bay, probably displaced, that like, hey, you can't
go root for your team.
You can't go root for your team. We're going to host this somewhere else.
Where would they go? Like UCF in Orlando? Like, is there any domes nearby? Like Tampa's 2 hours from Orlando?
Is Jacksonville playing at home this week?
Jacksonville is in Philly. They are in Philly.
So maybe they talk to their boys up north and say, look, throw us a bone, please.
Yeah. You know what? Either way,
they probably wouldn't because Tom Brady's on the team. He's going to fucking deflate their balls and do some weird shit. But let's move on. Okay. Saquon Barkley, and blessings to the folks of the Gulf.
Yeah. You're in our thoughts.
Seriously. Saquon Barkley. Best running back in football.
I mean, he looked awesome.
Prince who was promised.
Don't. There's only one. There can be only one. But I think Saquon, man, that run he had on Monday night was electric. You love seeing Saquon cut it back and then just outrun an entire defense. So it's nice to see Saquon is the bell cow that he had been in years past. It's great to see a guy come back from injury. He's a New York guy. You love seeing I'm married to a Giants fan. The house is a better house when the Giants are winning, and Saquon is electric. So
I just want to cut this conversation short for a second to announce live that Aaron Judge just hit his 61st home run.
He fucking did. We're doing the podcast. God fucking good.
We're
doing this.
It's my fault. It's your fault. It's Aaron's fault for being so damn good. That's special stuff.
We're gonna watch the one where he breaks it. That's awesome, man.
Here's the thing. Let's go to each game from here on out. Let's pay out our butts.
At Toronto, what was it? 2-run,
Let's go to fucking Toronto.
It was
61.
Dude, ties the American League record, ties Roger Maris. Special stuff.
I looked over and I got a text from my college roommate, Timmy, just said LFG. And I was like, why would Timmy be texting me that with no context? And then, Yankees.
All right. Well, shout out to
Saquon Barkley. Do you think that Saquon Barkley will turn Greg's team and the Giants into something of a Yankees of New York? Well, someone who's finally over the hump and can compete because they're only 2-1. Daniel Jones can turn it around.
What I saw on Monday night from that Giants team was a really fucking poorly constructed offense outside of Saquon. Like, where's Kadarius Toney? They fucking like. I guess he's always hurt with soft tissue injuries. Sterling Shepard's out, and now fucking. I don't know what to make of the dude they signed from the Lions for $72 million. He's who cleaned out his locker last week.
Ken Galladay.
Yeah, Galladay,
Sorry, I dropped passes, guys. I'm gonna clean out my locker.
And then
Call me, I guess.
So,
Take me back.
I think the Giants. I love the ball. I think the ball is like amazing. They got Wink Martindale as the DC from Baltimore. So I really like the future for the Giants. I think they probably have another 2 years to kind of rebuild some skill players. But look, Saquon's fucking awesome, man. So good for Saquon.
He's having a nice year. He'll pick up like a calf strain or like an oblique tinge.
You think he's due for one of those?
He's due for like a delt pull or something.
All right.
But I think the most underrated storyline of the most high flying team heading into week 3 is the running back room for Ted's team. He literally has 3 players on his bench who would be like any single team who wasn't his would find a spot for at least one of them. Many teams all 3. Some teams all 3.
If there's any weakness to Ted's team, it's just does he start the right running back? Like,
his kicker kind of stinks. His kicker's not good. And
join the club.
That can fail a team.
And I agree with that. Boswell, he kind of stinks. But look, I think between
can't even start Devontae Smith. If Devontae Smith did what he did last week for any team in the league, and now we're not even talking about running backs. And he's like, based on matchups this week, like I just don't like this guy who just got like. I would
say that's like
for 189.
Devontae's really good. I said it earlier in maybe week 1. I just don't think Jalen can support 2 number 1 receivers, and I was wrong because clearly both fucking AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are amazing. So I think Ted
put up like an antitrust suit against Ted's team because like he has no incentive to trade these guys. His team is too good.
It's very and it's like Andrews Brown and Kupp is as good a big 3 wide receiving core as there.
By the end of the season, it's going to be ass eaten Steven Chase. All the starters in the championship game are on his bench right now. Because there's no way the rookie Dameon Pierce is going to hit the rookie wall. Cordero Patterson, he's going to hit the vet wall. Khalil Herbert's going to hit the backup wall. Great story.
It's so funny. You're exact. I think you're right, man. Because he's Etienne is so fucking good. I would love to start Etienne. So shout out to Ted for having him. And he even snagged Goff, who's like, you know how I feel about Goff. I've been outspoken on the thread, but like. You're spoiled for choice between like Goff could like put up a lot of points this weekend.
You're spoiled for choice between Lamar Jackson, the best. See, this is what I'm talking about. We go back to the beginning. Brady versus Jackson. He gets no respect. But I think that it's going to be interesting on Greg's side. Michael Thomas is hurt-ish. They're playing really early. Is he just going to be like? Is he going to pull a Calvin? Look, do you remember last year? I actually came over to your house on the London game day.
The Jets game,
still on, and on the drive, I was like, "Wait, what? Ridley's inactive?" And thus doomed my season.
That was the gambling week, huh?
That was the game that they were like, "Well, Ridley did travel, but not playing for undisclosed cruel reason."
Interesting.
Yeah,
Wait,
so
was he?
I don't want to see any guy who's a part of the Saints Vikings gamble this weekend. I just want to say that. I hope no one loses a guy.
Samesies. If Justin Jefferson is on DraftKings, I'll fucking kill him. He's done enough to hurt my feelings.
Honestly, that would help your team. It would free your mind.
Because I have to start this guy. He's maddening.
Well, I mean, Greg has to start a bunch of guys too, and honestly, Greg's team is kind of tasty as well.
He's choosing to bench A-Rob, which I think at this point,
I would choose to start Ayuk and Damian Harris over A-Rob, but what do I know? What do I know? Terry McLaurin is on. I mean. Greg is a good team. He's 0-3. It's unlucky. He's this year's Rob. But this year's Rob, who's Rob, has more wins than Ted. So Ted could easily fall to 500 here. Look, nothing lasts forever.
Yeah, I think the projections are funny because like 126 to like 116-ish as it stands. I have to see who's projected for what because like I like the Rashad Bateman taking points away from Lamar for Greg. Obviously, we talked about it last time.
I love it.
Is this finally the Michael Pittman week? He's 100%, no injury designation.
Sure.
And maybe Michael Pittman.
We're going to look at the tape. Another week of no Taylor touchdown. Let's get Taylor involved, which only opens things up for Mike Pitts.
Exactly. And this Tennessee team is vexing. Like, they are the Raiders that bad? Like, are they a good team who just had a weird go of it the first week? I don't know. So I think the Colts could have a nice bounce or build on the momentum from beating the Chiefs.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that later. That Colts bounce. We're going to get to that later. Don't you guys forget. We're going to get to that later.
So who do you like in the Greg Ted matchup? Who do you like?
Honestly, let's make bold picks. Let's make bold decisions. I think that Kyle Pitts. Wait, I'm still looking at the wrong team. Jesus Christ! Oh my God, dude! Oh my God, I lost my place. Fuck. Why don't you start with who you like? Who do you like?
Last year, I remember because I was making memes and I gave Ted shit for going 0-4, which I had the Owen, Jesse Owen, Terrell Owens, 0-4.
And he made the playoffs.
He did not, but he had a nice bounce back in the second half. But what I'm trying to say is, I think justice is served, where Greg does go 0-4 and Ted sends him there. So Ted 3-1. He's got a dominant team. I like Lamar in that Bills game. That'll be a fun one. He's got the double up for Mark Andrews.
Here's the thing. It's going to be Ted. He has Cooper Kupp going Monday night. Yeah. Having the entire week go by and Cooper Kupp's left. It's just
that is really nice. And Kupp normally kills the fucking Niners. So I think
it could be up 30 going into Monday night.
And it would still,
God damn it, he has Cooper Kupp. Ted's really nicely set up this week.
No, he really is. And I think too, it's like the only chink in Ted's armor is like who does he play the wrong running back? But it's funny because his team's so good. Like it doesn't matter who he plays. Like there is no wrong running back, at least in week 4. So I think I like Ted. Yeah, but Greg's got
these Linsanity era phrases to describe Ted's team, and I don't think there's any problem with Ted's team. Let's move on.
Okay.
Josh versus Doc Dank, one-time roommates, which is really the underlying story.
Yeah, that's cute. Okay.
These guys live together.
Josh is. So I'll just get into this quick on the Kirk Cousins thing because I think I'm really nervous for Sunday morning because the Kurt thing is like the guy when he has a routine at 1 o'clock plays really well. But anytime you break that routine and put him on prime time, it's not about the lights. I think it's about the prime timeness.
Yeah.
It's the adjusting schedule. And there is not a bigger fuck up in your schedule than going to England and playing what is it? I think it's 7 o'clock over there when they
if you could rank every starting quarterback in the NFL most sad about the death of the Queen to least, would Kirk be number one?
Hold on.
Based on persona, Russell Wilson might be up there.
Yeah, I would say Russ because I feel like Russ maybe got a royal wedding invite at some point to Prince Harry.
Because Ciara is super famous, and maybe the princes were and invite some R&B ladies. Let's do that.
Well, Trevor is the prince who was promised, so maybe just from being in the
he was. But look, Josh's team. Everyone should be sad about the Queen. I'm sad about Josh's team. All of those guys are going to be sad this week because at press time, this is pre-waivers. We're starting Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, Josh is going to – there's no way he does that. He's going to be busy tomorrow at 11.
There's no way. But, Jacoby Myers in the starting lineup, and then he could start Tyler Boyd, who's been a nice surprise. But Michael Gallup's first game, he'd be an IR guy. You'd have him on the IR through 3.
So also, what's interesting to me? You look at the success that the Miami Dolphins have and the lack of success the 49ers have, and you wonder just how fucking good Mike McDaniel was as a play caller for the Niners because
Mike's still running though. He's still
I just think the way McDaniel's kind of used fucking Debo is maybe this guy is I don't know what to make. I kind of the take on Debo early was Trey Lance is going to be in there and he's going to take away a lot of rushing opportunities. Maybe the story there is Kyle Shanahan may not be the play caller that we thought he was, and it was McDaniel pulling the strings. And now that it's Kyle, Debo's less productive. I don't know.
It's a very spicy take.
Yeah.
I think it's not maybe not the wrong take. Very spicy take.
I'm putting you on the spot here. No, all right, we'll work on that for next week. Next week. There it is. Sitcom laughter. But yeah,
man. You
I
so
don't
you
know,
think
that's my Debo take. That's my Debo take.
you think that, I mean, at this point we're zeroing in on Debo because after Nick Chubb, the number one running back,
Chubb
in
rocks.
the NFL,
Chubb fucking rocks.
he's got no other players. I mean, he has Cortland Sutton. He has Cortland Sutton. I'm sorry, he has Cortland Sutton, and he knows how I feel about Cortland. I'm a deep appreciator of Cortland.
The thing that also about a Justin Jefferson a woe haver. I don't know what the phrase would be, but a guy who's really pissed that Justin sucks. Adam Thielen's been really benefiting from the double coverage Justin's getting. So I think if teams continue to scheme the way they are, Thielen is a very solid, wide receiver too. It's Sutton's good, fucking Chubb's good, and Debo's TBD, and the rest of Josh's team is.
I mean, he's getting the benefit. Just if we're looking at projections, he's projected for 105. Mm-hmm. Part of that is a 16.3 from Debo. And you might have said in a previous week, why?
Yeah.
He's getting stuff at the line. He's a wideout.
Yeah. I mean, he still gets involved, but yeah, I don't know. My other take here, too, on the Niners team is like, good offenses run on continuity. I think that's why you see a little slower start from the Rams with Stafford's arm and the Bengals with Burrow's appendix.
Sure.
The entire preseason they planned and schemed and had timing with Trey Lance, and now it's like, go figure it out with a completely different style of quarterback. So maybe the Niners can turn it around. Maybe they needed a week or 2 or 3 to really put Jimmy in the game plan. But I don't know, man. Debo to me I would say he's right now the number one most confusing player in fantasy football is Debo Samuel.
Debo Samuel, number one. I mean, I guess that's he's honestly put in some decent weeks. I mean, there's been worse guys.
I just think from what he was last year to what he is now. Well, you can say that for a few different guys.
I mean, there's a guy who a lot of people, I think, in the last 2 years were saying he's the number one guy in Minnesota, but we forgot about Thielen. And you got to think that Justin Jefferson at this point is kind of a number 2 over in the
behind Adam. I mean, the numbers don't lie. It fucking looks like that. Well, it looks like it.
Let's talk a little bit about a Purva's team because Purva, he
another darling
got stomped this past week and got 170 scored on him during the wedding. So imagine if a wedding wasn't happening. That would be a deeply sad weekend. You got outscored by 80. You got outscored by what Rob averages per week.
Yeah, well,
immense.
You ran into a buzzsaw. But this is a good team. Cam Akers is turning it around. I mean, Justin's healthy. He's got a good matchup against Texans. The head scratcher here is the Melvin Gordon start. I don't think he starts. I think he'll have Alexander Madison in there because I don't think Cook's going to play. And
is that what we think? Sunday morning?
I really think, yeah, it's a tricky injury for Cook. It's a long season, and Madison's fucking good. So
do you think this team, DeAndre Hopkins, is a savior? He's out for sure.
But
we can talk about it for 3 more weeks, but.
A really nice piece. He's got the number one receiver in Diggs. You got the right guy who's. I mean, he showed it's funny. I think we were talking maybe last week. It's like the top 5 wide receivers. Like no one thought Diggs would be number 1, and he is by I guess Cup, but number 1 and 2. But he is light.
He fell into a big Judy trap. I think at this point we can say as a public, as a sports enjoying public, that Judy's
gotten a lot of hype. He's got banged up, and it was kind of a rainy matchup last week. But
there's just no way that all of a sudden, it's his 3rd year, right? It's going to be like week 8, year 3, that he turns it on and never looks back, and he has a Hall of Fame 10-year career. No chance. He is.
Yeah, Judy's a bit of I don't want to say a
bit of a boost. A boost. Dude, Tim Patrick took his job.
That's true. And Tim is IR. He's not coming back all year?
Tim Patrick is not coming back. I think he tore his ACL at the beginning of.
In the camp? Okay.
Something. Yeah.
All right.
Not good. Well, but Stephon Diggs, he'll have a bounce back. Amon-Ra, bounce back.
Dude, Amon-Ra.
Melvin Gordon plays, though. They love this guy. He had more touches than Javonte. It's insane. But he doesn't really have anybody else because if Madison's deeply a backup.
But I just don't think Cook's going to get Cook's shoulder is pretty hurt. I don't know if he's going to start.
Wednesday nights maybe aren't the night for this because this is just before the waivers.
A lot of speculation. I know the official injury reports come out.
I'm looking at also before. I mean, it's before waivers. I'm looking at a Purvis team, and I'm just he has to kind of maybe if Melvin doesn't play, us play Madison. If Cook's healthy, who's he going to start here?
There's some heavy speculation, but I also like the excitement.
These guys.
I like the excitement before waivers, but
I think the excitement as well.
What I will say though
for Josh this week, because as much as this is a question mark, Purvis got this in the bag, I think. If I'm going to,
I was going to say, we haven't talked about Derrick Henry, and I think it'll be fun go for your boy Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry, a classic heavyweight matchup between AFC South running backs. And
it's going to be a quick game. It's going to be a quick game.
Yeah, a lot of first downs, a lot of moving the chains.
This will be over by 2:30
this week. I like Derrick
Henry.
It's
A quick game. So. I like a Purva. Justin Herbert is like I think a pretty scary questionable. He lowers a Purvis floor considerably if he's basically just like an 18-point player with his injury, and they have to just feed Josh Kelly and feed Sony Michel. I mean, what a potent offense. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
I think to your point, it's a good week for a Purva to have a questionable Herbert going against Josh. A lot of chalk so far, but I think
Josh's team just pisses me off. It makes me angry looking at it. I hate looking at Josh's roster. Pisses me right off. Looking at this collection of bad guys. He has $67 left. He spent $33. Can you name it off the dome? On who?
On who, Josh? Give me a second. Because got another quarterback. It was whoever hit. I don't know. Let me put Josh's roster.
He doesn't roster a second quarterback right now, so it tells you all you need to know.
Okay, yeah. Josh Gallup got a bulk of that money. I would assume.
I mean, do you think that Josh has given Tia's laptop back? You know, the one
from his two laptops. Well, he's got Dontrell Hilliard, my $1 guy.
That's true.
I couldn't tell you who are the other big purchases for Josh.
Dontrell Hilliard averages, by the way, 13 points a game, so don't besmirch him. All he does is perform.
Your boy picked him up, and let him
dropped his ass. But I like a Purva a lot in this one, just because again, he's relying on Kirk Cousins. Deeply sad about the Queen playing too early with a team that's going to be all discombobulated, and then he's relying on in-state Debo going down to the bigger city to perform. All the bright lights, it's not really his bag. So I'm going to throw this one to a Purva, I think.
I think so, too.
This next one is with two of our most 2004 guys. Two luminaries of 2004. I think you could ask most students from West Windsor, Plainsboro High School South, class of 2004, do you remember Derek De La Rosa or do you remember Dan Schwartz? And both those guys are going to catch a lot of I do. What's that guy up to? Or I know exactly what that guy's up to. It's a classic matchup between two great Titans of 04, Dan Schwartz and Derek De La Rosa. And I think that this is also a matchup, not unlike Ted's matchup versus Rob, where it's going to be gross. It's going to be lopsided.
Yeah, I mean, look, Aaron is that New England D is interesting. I mean, it's nice that they get to be at home. Kamara, his whole team's kind of hurt. Kamara, James Conner.
I feel like there's every single player who's available on the Saints and on the Vikings is like somehow fantasy relevant. They're all starting. I feel like we've gone through these teams. You're like, he's up early on Sunday though. So I mean, I don't trust.
Start Amari Cooper.
You have to
really nice performance. Dude, is Jacoby Brissett really good? Like, he looked really good on Thursday.
I think he's really solid. I mean, back-to-back 101, back-to-back double-digit target, 101-yard and a touchdown days for Amari Cooper. That's like vintage Cooper. That's
great,
Dima spending 70 on Cooper. That's what we're talking about. That is a piece.
Between him and Waddle, it's a great 1-2 punch. And Drake London, the last 2 weeks, has looked like a really fucking competent receiver.
Sure.
So
Curtis Samuel fell back to earth, but I mean, like Darren Waller, it's a guy so many people would start.
Yeah, I would start Waller on And Tony Pollard's fucking dude. I watched Tony Pollard play, man, and you just like, this guy's the best. This guy could be a starting running back on most teams. Like,
I saw your WhatsApps. People were just texting. You're like, Tony looks good.
I love Tony.
Big run by Tony.
Tony looks great.
That stuff doesn't go unnoticed. I understand who you like and who you don't like. And I use it against you.
This is for the other kids who don't pick up on it.
I mean, he has Tua. And I think, before the week, he was, again, trying to pat. No one's made a trade yet. It's early. Tua plus Cooper for anybody. And I think that Cooper at this point for his team is too valuable. I mean, he's probably expecting to start the three guys, but Dalvin.
It's funny that Schwartz's team still looks like pretty good without Dalvin Cook, who's his highest priced player. So I mean, shout out to Schwartz.
Well, he's not starting a defensive player, and I think that's where his team's got a ton of holes.
That's where the big downfall is. But we turn our attention to Derek, and he's got an offense I like, in that Jaguars offense. He's got Christian Kirk and James Robinson, and you know the rule. Anytime you're starting two Jaguars players, you're going to win that banner. So think of circa 2015 Greg.
Definitely a lot of the guidance this offseason, if you guys are listening, like ESPN guys, CBS Sports, fantasy footballers, it was like, buy Jags get the Jags
Get the Jags
where you can. Pick up Zay Jones. Go get Evan Engram. Who, by the way, when he runs out there, I'm like, who's this small slot receiver? And then that
Evan Engram looks so svelte for And I
even was thinking, like, when they pulled him up on the car, and they're going to list him as a wide receiver, right? Because he's a tiny guy. He's like 180 pounds. And like, the tight end, Evan Engram. I'm like, no, he's not.
He's just a pure pass-catching tight end, which is just, very one-dimensional in the mind.
He's a thick slot guy. He likes running close to the line. But anyway, buy Jags.
Look, he's got Devontae Adams. Did you hear anything from fucking Dan Orlovsky this week about like him shitting all over Derek Carr, like actively ignoring Devontae Adams?
I have not.
Well, he did very extensive film study.
Was it damning?
I'm sorry?
Was it damning?
It was pretty damning, where like it's really just like, do it on your own time, but it was basically just like the whole point of Devontae going to this team was him and Carr are boys, and it was like he was very open on a lot of plays, and Carr is
Look,
not.
Man, you want to go play with your boys? You want to go play with your friends? What does that say to the rest of the team? Carr, you're a leader over in Vegas, okay?
Right. Maybe he's
you're
looking at
a fucking leader. Right? You're the captain of the team. You've been there multiple years. You're like, yeah, let's move all these other guys aside. Our best receiver from last year killed a person and is in jail for the rest of their life. Our best receiver this season is my boy, and he can't just come in and get all the targets. He has to spread it around, or it would be an HR problem. He's having his buddy come. Let's be realistic.
Dude, that's a great take. That's a great take. That's a great take. It's hey, week one, they looked great against the Chargers. They had a chance. Everyone else is saying, hey, man.
And it gives Derek an opportunity to juice those guys. Because if he's throwing 18 targets he did it in week one, just to let everyone know, like, here's what it can be. Right? Here's what it can be. He threw him something preposterous, like 14 targets or something. This is what it can be. And then the following weeks, he's like, look, we need to get our guys involved. Devontae, I cannot favoritism you,
17 week one targets.
That's what I'm saying. Patty Smithsonian. I like what he's got going on. And I'm a longtime lover of Deontay Johnson. He's exclusively getting thrown the rock by bad guys.
And he catches everything. He's really good. Yeah, he's really good. And how long do you think before Pickett takes over in Pittsburgh?
Give it 1 week. I think if Trubisky, even if they win and he is not good, they're like, yeah, Pickett, give us some juice. If they win, they won't change it. But if they lose, I think that they just give it to Pickett. You draft him.
If they lose to this Jets team, and Deontay, I don't know how big of a fantasy day he's going to have on Sauce Island.
IMO. There are only 2 lottery ticket quarterbacks that you can pick up on waivers still. Everyone else is a known entity. No one who's on waivers right now is going to give you anything. 2 guys.
Quarterbacks
who could win you this season because they're unknown entities. And maybe they hit the scene, they're like, I've got weapons, let's fucking go. And they are Kenny Pickett.
And Malik Willis, I don't know who
Zach Wilson.
Oh, yes. Oh, well, of course, Zach Wilson.
Wilson has Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson. He's got Corey Davis. He's got Conklin and Carter.
Target monster, yeah.
Comparable line.
Not anymore. The Jets lost our 3rd starting tackle. So we lost Becton, then we signed Dwayne Brown, lost him, and then we had Noah Fant, who's literally played both left and right, went on IR this week.
Noah Fant is a tight end, so you guys are digging deep.
George Fant. Miss Chastity Gooches.
Let's get off the Jets, though. Let's get off the Jets, and we'll get back to the Jets. But Derek's team is really good. He's not as, deliciously deep.
Derek loses points for not being at Bakker's wedding, so he's
got Romeo Dobbs, though. He's got Romeo Dobbs. Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah, Dobbs. Well, yeah, fuck Dobbs.
You start Dobbs.
I had the better receiver in Green Bay between Allen and Lazard. So
I mean, like, upon reflection, Derek's bench is relatively ass because none of those guys, you wouldn't start any of those guys and be like, nice. You wouldn't say nice when you you drag them into the starting lineup. You wouldn't.
yeah, but I think to me, I mean, I kind of use Kareem Hunt, but I kind of use the bench as like high upside guys you kind of hold on to for a little bit. And I
I
think
think the bench is like, how good can this team be or how sustainable can this team be for the most part?
yeah, I think Derek and I kind of use our bench. I don't know if it's similar, but it's kind of like RB2s with big upside. Like he's got three.
Isn't his bench like you use your starting lineup? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, just
You know
wait.
what I'm saying?
We can jump right into mine if you want, baby. I'm ready to go in week 4. I'm ready to go. But
All right.
So I would say, though, I would give this week to Derek. A lot of chalk. And
I would also give this week to Derek, but we have yet to see Aaron Rodgers have a 4-touchdown, 300-plus yard day, and we do forget. We misremember that Aaron Rodgers is on this team, and he still has several blue chip players. Schwartz's team. Schwartz took home the 50, not Derek, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. That's true.
Team.
Right after his 12th ranking, after a bummer week 1, he turned it around.
Right. That's right, and back down to whatever he is, 7 or 8. I mean, his team is volatile, but
Yeah, I think most teams are at this point. We're 3 weeks in, and it's been a wonky season.
But I want to move on to the team that has, frankly, a heartthrob. I think a lot of kids out there are going to be wearing this guy's jersey coming up, and that's the prince that was promised, Mr. Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Trevor, drawing a start this week, I see. Of course. How could you not?
Well, so hear me out on the Jacksonville piece. I think the Eagles' defense is very good, and I'm not ecstatic about it. But let's not forget, Doug Peterson was fired from this Eagles team, goes back into Philly, and I think he's going to have a very Philly-specific game plan. Maybe he runs the Philly special on the Eagles. So maybe Trevor catches it.
What if they do it twice? They're just like, we're going to keep running on you. Trevor's such a specimen. Look at
That's it, dude. Trevor, I said it before, I just think Trevor reminds me, this offense reminds me of the Carson Wentz 2017 offense when Carson looked awesome, and I think Trevor is a better player. But like I said, this matchup isn't ideal for me. I like Demas starting fucking Joe Burrow against Miami tomorrow. I think I'm not going to have that much fun tomorrow watching, because Mixon struggled. I had higher hopes for Mixon after his week 1 18 burger with no touchies. But these last 2 weeks have been a bummer, and it's been the joke.
Let me just make you feel better about the week really quick. Let me just make you feel better because your team right now looks bad.
We're against the ropes, but I'm not giving up.
Like you said, Trevor with Doug in Philly, a surefire thing. Joe after a down week in Miami, book it. Rashad Penny, his involvement in the offense against.
We'll see what happens with Penny. I'm eyeing a McKinnon start. The snap share is equal between him and Clyde.
Snap share versus touches is very different, but I think that Penny's going to have a 120-yard, 2 or 3 touchdown day. Lazard, like I said, Rodgers is going to pop.
Dude, Lazard has 2 touchdowns in 2 games, and in
catches, double the catches, double the touchdowns.
Catches are increasing.
I'm going to look at Dima's roster. Pat's got this week because, actually, if we may, if I look at these 2 teams, if I look at Dima's team and I look at your team, you have the 2-3 best players out of that
in the matchup.
In the matchup, you've got Joe Mixon, Justin Jefferson, and Travis Kelce. You could argue that maybe CeeDee Lamb is up there with Travis Kelce. I wouldn't argue it. And you could also say that Joe Burrow is, as a quarterback, quarterbacks are important. More important than Kelce, more important than Mixon, maybe. But
in this league, with 6-point touchdowns, sure. You can get a 40 burger from a quarterback and win the week.
Sure, but we're saying QB aside. You've got the higher end talent, and it's not like DJ Moore and Juju Smith, who just torched me for a win.
Yeah, I forgot you lost that was a bummer Monday, man. I think watching fucking CeeDee Lamb, I'm just not a fan of this guy. I said it. Like, he dropped, like, what should have been such a fucking touchdown and just smiled like an idiot the rest of the game. And I was like, this...
Did you watch the Manning cast by any chance?
I actually didn't watch the Manning cast.
It was good because they flashed the offensive coordinator, like, giving him, like, a CD. Like, it's okay, man. Like, good job.
Oh, okay.
And Manning was like, "What are you doing, man? Yeah, CD, man, thanks for dropping it. Like, good job, pal. Like, great effort out there."
I like that. Manning was known to give his receivers shit. I would have liked to have heard Peyton's take after that.
Manning was incredulous, but I think your team is going to look good this week.
I need it. I got to tell you, I picked a good weekend to not watch football.
Burrow's going to have to throw in Miami, though. Joe Burrow's going to have to toss the pill.
That's what I'm thinking. I wonder. So there's as a gambler, I wonder, if they try to adjust the game plan and say, "Hey, let's take the ball out of Tua's hands," which is a phrase I didn't think I'd be saying this season, but here they are. And maybe just try to run it, slow it down, play like a very clock, frustrating game, like, 3 and out for Miami, and then they control the clock for like 9-minute drive. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. As a gambler, I'm tending to lean to the under tomorrow.
I think that long term you need to drop all of your bench except for Matt Stafford and Hunter Renfrow.
I will say my bench is, like I said, I use my bench.
My bench just like, who did you say you use your bench like?
Like they're similar to Derek, I guess. It's like RB2s with big upside, a backup quarterback. And I think if we're being candid, the two biggest, like, obviously Justin Jefferson has been an absolute bummer the last 2 weeks, but my defense and kicker matching choices, I got combined 3 points from my defense and my kicker last week. I got 1 from the Steelers and 2 from my kicker. Like, Dima got 36 from his kicker and his defense in week 1. So, like, I'm putting myself in a bad spot overall point-wise by literally 3 points from 2 startable positions where you're looking at 4 to 5 each. Fucking kicker should get you 10.
I see that you're talking about your defense and your kicker and stuff, but if I may just sharply shift course.
Yeah. Ooh.
Justin Jefferson has been butt.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to do about it.
The top of the show about this being a confusing season.
I don't know what to do.
Previously called another player Debo, the most confusing.
I guess. Yeah, he may be. He may, because
Debo's given us a consistent 11.
But it's so funny because 11 and Justin got 35 in the first.
Exactly,
game.
That's very confusing. A lunch pail 11 versus a 35 7-2.
And now we're talking about Jeff Okudah like being the shutdown corner. It's like, hey, bench guys during those Okudah matchups, and it's like. But I did watch a little bit of Twitter film.
Think about it though. That was Okudah against a bunch of lithe guys, a bunch of thin men. He's going up against, I believe it's DK Metcalf this weekend.
Is it?
DK's thick bodied. They're gonna toss Okudah on Lockett for sure. They're gonna let DK beat up whoever.
I hope not. I also say this. So I did watch some Twitter film on the game, and I'll try to make this example very quick. But in week 1, they basically sent Jefferson in motion to like the same line of scrimmage, side of the line of scrimmage as Thielen, and Jefferson went in the flat, and Thielen went across, and the defense miscommunicated, whatever. But in this game, the guy covering Thielen, the guy covering Jefferson, and the safety all triple team Jefferson, and Thielen got like a wide open look in the back of the end zone. So it's like teams are really saying, "Holy shit, don't let 18 beat us." And Kirk Cousins won the game by throwing to everyone else. So I'm kind of hoping that there's what I'm trying to say is there's a balance. Like
you're talking me into Kirk Cousins as a play this weekend because you're basically saying we have to watch 18. And Thielen is a professional touchdown getter. That's like his thing. He gets like double-digit touchdowns, knows how to run those end zone routes.
Agreed. I'm just hoping that teams will say we have to be more balanced in our approach because Kirk can beat us if we take away Justin. And he did that. They did that last week.
I don't disagree. But the matchup right now of CeeDee Lamb versus Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb's the position ranked 29. Justin Jefferson,
I think he's still
8. Still 8. But, for how much longer?
So we're talking a bit about my shit team for the being. I'll give Dima credit here. He is 2-1.
Yeah,
he's got Najee.
He's beaten some shit teams without a doubt.
He might get another win on his record here because I think we said before. So Baker, right? The Baker conundrum. How the fuck? DJ Moore was like, if you were to, I think Marty was telling me a stat a while ago where it's like the most consistent player over the last 4 years of fantasy. It's like catches, yards, touchdowns. Like if you were to just have the most safe high-end wide receiver 3, low-end 2 is DJ Moore. and he's been like
Like
borderline
80 receptions, like 1,000 yards, and like 8
exactly.
touchdowns
Like
or something.
yeah, if you look at his last few years, and now it's 6, 11,
Yeah.
and 2, and it's like
He's
how,
caught
like
7 passes.
is it a
That's
Baker
like
thing?
Garrett
Is it
Wilson
an
in
offense
one
thing? It's just I don't know because like Baker's been known to make guys like that. At least in college, I got to stop thinking about Baker in college. Like D.D. Westbrook was amazing in college with Baker, and you're like those undersized slot guys who run over the middle of the field.
That's a good name to target on the waivers tomorrow, by the way. D.D. Westbrook, that's a talented guy.
Okay.
Throw your fab at him.
I'll keep that in mind. But he also has Dima has the week 1. Holy shit, Dima's team might be great guy. Gabe Davis.
Realistically, this matchup is a toss-up. I think that like both teams have proven nothing. Your team is on paper better than Dima's team, IMO, IMHO. But if Dima wins, he could potentially end the week with a better record than Ted. So that's the stage of the season we're at.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like this season is just so maddening to me. To see Justin Jefferson shit the bed. Matt Stafford, who threw like 38 touchdowns last year, went had 0 last week against an Arizona team who fucking got lit up the last 2 weeks by Carr and Mahomes. So
it's maddening stuff.
It's maddening.
Maddening stuff. But let's get to everyone's favorite matchup.
The matchup we can't wait for.
The matchup this podcast was just supposed to be about this matchup, but it's me versus Vacation Boy versus Holiday LaBelle. We love to see him.
Yeah,
I saw he was in Nazaré, Portugal today during, at the filming of this. He's probably in Nazaré, Portugal. I hope that he saw 100-Foot Wave on HBO. Shout out to our partners over at Discovery and Warner and over at HBO. 100-Foot Wave, great documentary. Check it out. Features Nazaré, where they were at. That's a really, really great doc.
Beautiful. I'll check. I'll peep.
Shout out to our partners.
I will say, shout out to my fellow groomsman Marty. I got to spend some time with Nicole this weekend at the wedding, and A+, great girl to go on vacation with. Big Nicole fan. Most time I spent with her since forever. So
Marty, man, I spent a little bit of time with Nicole during the wedding, and I agree. I'd love to go on vacation with her, if I may.
You want to swap it up? We swapping?
Maybe. But let's talk about this matchup. I mean, I think that when I just said he's proven nothing, now that these teams have proven anything, I think that you could apply that level of tough love to what I have cooking so far this year, and to a degree, Marty. But any team with Pat Mahomes against a listless Buccaneers team, that game might not happen. I mean, let's actually return to that for a second.
Bro, that game
doesn't happen.
So, hold on. Where are you getting your 120 from? Are they projecting like a 30-point game from Taylor?
Yeah, Taylor's getting like a 20 spot, very realistic.
Okay.
Eckler's getting like a 16 spot in a week where they're going against a booty butt Houston team. Look, we need to feed Eckler. We need to get the people of Los Angeles, the good people of San Diego.
Give me an owner's perspective, because I'm pulling my hair out with Justin. How you feeling about Austin, man? Give me where are you sitting every Sunday with him?
I feel pretty good about Austin because he is as involved in the passing game as he has always been. Mm-hmm. I think that we had weird, like the last game, the Chargers had some early turnovers, and I don't know. They have looked a little bit weird. They've involved Eckler on the goal line. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's definitely concerning, but I'm not like super concerned. Like
they lost their left tackle this week. How does that affect the Chargers scheme?
Remains to be seen.
I think it helps you.
You think it helps?
I think your left tackle, especially in the AFC West, you're going against the dude who hit his girlfriend at Michigan. He was drafted. Frank Clark.
Helps.
You're going against Frank Clark. You're going against Nick Chubb. You won't be able to throw downfield without your left tackle. So the short stuff to Austin, I think, will open up a little bit.
I mean, he could average like 12 catches a game, but, I mean, his lack of running is concerning. But I'm actually not that concerned. He had about 14 in week 2. He had like 9 and change this past week, in weeks where it's like, it's a disaster. So I'm like, okay. He scores a touchdown, which is quite realistic. You're right back to
Dude, he had like 20 touchdowns last year, man. He's super fucking good.
No, he's good. And Jonathan Taylor's also good, but Jonathan Taylor's a sore toe, I saw. They're resting
we should switch it to maybe just a Friday pod, because like we have no clue who's playing and who isn't right now. Like, are guys just taking a Wednesday off, or is there like a legitimate, concern? Because I think
if I was a long time sufferer of gout, I'm taking off on Wednesday before my Sunday match. Got a
Okay.
sore toe.
I think so, but it's like the official injury diagnosis comes out on Thursday, right? That's when the official injury report is for the week, and it could be, I think the ESPN is speculation. So we don't know if it's doubtful, if it's questionable, if he's fucking just, got a sore toe. We don't know. So either way, I said,
I think he'll be fine. I mean,
yeah, dude, Derrick Henry versus Jonathan Taylor, man. I kind of like shit like that, where you have like two great wide receivers or two great running backs facing off. Like, I feel like these guys know who's on the other side of the other bench, and they want to outshow.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor was the best running back last year, and in the previous years on a running alone basis, it was Derrick Henry. So these guys probably know each other. Like, who's the best running back?
Exactly. Who's the best pure thoroughbred between the tackles? So I'm excited for Jonathan Taylor to show.
Guys, I think Singletary is a terrifying start because he could have a week, a poor man's Eckler week. He's on such a good offense. They're going to have to.
That's a tricky one, man. Normally, you like to start the running backs on a good offense, but like when Josh Allen's taking all the carries, it's
last week he only had a couple carries, but I don't want to wax poetic about my team that much. I just want to talk about my guy, and I'm going to say on the pod right now. I'm a Jets fan now. I'm a full-time
New York
football Jets.
We won you over, baby. New York football Jets.
Right. Now, do you say that because of the confusion with the Winnipeg Jets? Is that why it said football Jets? Like, the hockey team?
No, because they say New York football Giants, but I did forget the Winnipeg franchise existed. Did they just stop like being a franchise and then the NHL expanded back to teams? I feel like the Winnipeg Jets didn't exist for like a decade.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think the Winnipeg Jets moved.
We need a producer. We need it on the.
Let's kick it to Statboy. Do you think Tony Reale? I think I could like pull some Fordham strings like Tony, man. We have like an in-league pod.
But it's very specific. Like 10 dudes listen, and
can you look at our league page for like an hour? Anyway, Garrett Wilson, he's incredible.
He's played with some Ravens last week. You love to see the grit.
Oh, unbelievable grit. And you know what? He's not. He's not questionable at all this week. It's not like we're resting Garrett. Garrett had a limited practice. Garrett's a learner. He's a student of the game. But I am a little bit scared to go against Tyreek Hill after a bad week against a totally susceptible Cincinnati. Tyreek Hill could put up.
Did you hear the Tyreek Hill Eli Apple quote?
Elihu Apple.
So Tyreek, it's funny because he goes to Miami. He did an interview with look it up. He has like maybe a mink on, maybe like an unbuttoned jacket and like shades and like a chain. And he's like, I want Eli Apple. We got unfinished business. So definitely don't want to poke the proverbial bear with. I
don't want to, but I mean, Tua did look
concussed as
he had, immediate brain damage.
I
don't really joke too much about it, but what are they doing?
Dude, wobbling around on the field is like terrible. And the NFL, like, shame on Goodell for not especially as an AFC East opponent of.
Dude, shame on the whole Dolphins organization. Who are
just like step in, man. Like you can't
be like, man, you're saying you want to be back, but like
it's bad optics. You can't have a dude wobbling on the field and call it a back injury. But anyway, we got Tyreek. He's got Chase Claypool, and then he's got obviously.
Start Chase. But of course, it's going to be the week that Chase is like 2 touchdowns, a 73 fab Chase. We'll never forget.
I didn't drop 73 on Chase, did I?
You dropped 70 plus on Chase. Let's go back in the annals. You're no longer Patty Smithsonian. You're Patty Back Pages. You're Patty Back Page.
73 is a lot, even for me. Okay. All right. Well, either way, let's go Chase Claypool.
David Montgomery might not
play. For Chase on Marty's team. If I spent that much on you, and then shout out. He also has Josh Jacobs and Leo.
He does have Josh Jacobs and Leo, and I think that Leo, who is projected for 16 right now, it's a bit rich. I think.
You know what's interesting about that backfield is I feel like that's a backfield that if you were to tell me, how do I describe it?
He's going to get 16.
It's a great duo of running backs to have, right? But they're no one's first choice. No one's
Josh Jacobs.
And Leo and Lenny. Because Lenny last year was
11 and 9.5. So I don't want to wax too much poetic about these two mid-tier pass catching backs.
But as far, I don't know. I would say that's a backfield that.
What about Clyde? Clyde's on the bench. Clyde's the number 4 running back so far.
Oh yeah, well Marty's probably seeing what I'm seeing and knowing that it's McKinnon time. It's all. I think that's why Mahomes was so upset with Bieniemy. He's like, we got this absolute work.
We got this stud. Did you see the contract the 49ers gave this guy? He's good.
I will say the reason I like McKinnon so much, and not to go back to my team, is he averaged like double-digit points in all 3 playoff games, and I'm like, you had Clyde all year, he stinks. You go with McKinnon when it counts, and he absolutely balls. Like, and he's splitting snap shares with like it's literally, I think it's like almost 50-50 between the two. He's just not getting the touches. So I would. Clyde on the bench, good for you, Marty. I love it.
I do want to say though, I mean, Marty last week, he scored 83.3 with 18.7 from Russell Gage. So,
ooh, really?
I just want to say he had 83.3 with 18.7 from Russell Gage. So, while our eyes tell us that his team is competitive, our hearts know he's not.
Dude, fucking 12 catches for Gage. Good for you, man. Good for, you know what? I'll give it to Marty. Marty beats me a lot.
He came up to me at Bacher's wedding and just like tapped me on the shoulder. I was like eating like a cake, like a piece of cake, and he was like, "Hey, 12 catches for Russell Gage, man."
There you go. Marty's a detail guy.
Jesus Christ.
Marty doesn't miss a trick.
Well, look, I love my team on this. I love my team this week because he's on vacation, and if he loses, it doesn't matter. And the spirits, the world knows this. You know,
so I would say this matchup is the loser goes 1-3, and
sure
1-3 is tough. And Marty and Will, I mean, no one wants to go 1-3 in this league. My back's against the wall. Both your teams are against the wall.
I will reiterate this again. If anyone beats me early in the season, remember, I'm a 1945 era U.S. military presence. If you poke me, you poke the bear, don't wake the sleeping giant, guys.
You don't want to see him in December. You don't want to see that Willie revenge game.
Imagine if I had an IR slot. Imagine how well I'd use my IR slot. I've got 2 guys out, hurt, rookies, unproven, never seen the field before.
Brian Bullets, and when is Williams coming back, dude?
Seemingly the same week. There's been they had video of him running in like week 1. They're like, this is surprising, and we've heard nothing because they don't want to let us know how good he is.
Just think of how good Jared Goff will be. Just think of how good Ted's bench will continue to be.
Feel bad for Roberto.
Receiving core adds another speedster on the outside.
Would you say that above even Garrett Wilson, the face of the NFL, that Jameson Williams is a better wide receiver?
That remains to be seen.
Pedigree, tape?
I really like Garrett Wilson's game. And Jameson Williams is just really fucking fast. And I don't know, like, it's interesting in college, and not to just do, but like college speed, like everyone in college is not playing in the NFL. Like, so a faster, more like talented, more physical, physically more talented guy, I guess, a faster, stronger, whatever. I don't know what his route tree, how polished he is. I know Garrett can do that on a professional level. I know Jameson Williams can run by everyone, but I don't know how he can make a cornerback confused. So that remains to be seen.
If I'm last place this year, I commit to getting everyone a Jets jersey.
Oh, hell.
Garrett Wilson's number, but your last name on the back.
So a 17 Dennehy.
Yeah.
All right, bring it on, bro. Yeah. All right.
It'll just have a full name. It'll be just 2 names, Garrett, and then everyone's last name, Garrett Desai.
Garrett Desai, Garrett Dennehy, Garrett Gamarnik. Garrett Gamarnik kind of sounds nice. Maybe if Dima.
That was a huge missed opportunity for the Kebbles.
Well, maybe they'll
Garrett Gamarnik.
Maybe they'll have another. Even if it's a girl, Garrett could be Garrett Gamarnik. I could see it. I could see
Garrett.
It. Beautiful, beautiful young lady.
They're going in the middle of Sebastian's name for the nickname Bash. So maybe this guy be Eri. If he was
every. That's good. Every.
Anyway, guys, we hope that this new podcast platform really works out for you. I'm a huge Jets fan now.
Yeah.
I hope to see you guys in the waivers tomorrow. I hope that by the time you got to this part of the tape, you know that we've tried to give it to you Wednesday night. We'll see.
Yeah. And we're still working on it, but week 3 is in the books. Week 4 is about to be underway, and let's go football. We got Thursday. We got Sunday morning. We have maybe a Tuesday game if this hurricane kind of fucks it up in Tampa. So
maybe it's possible, very possible. I didn't even think about that, but let's give a hand for Pat. Let's give a hand for Pat. Let's give a hand.
I would take a bow, but
let's give a hand. This is a 36-second effect.
All right.
We're not going to – all right, cool. We can load sound effects, and we will.
Yeah, I let us know your thoughts on the platform, homies, because
Leave your thoughts in
we're
the
trying to get
comments.
better.
Smash the like button.
That like button.
Again, shout out to our partners at Warner Brothers. Shout out to our partners at Hayes Little Thing, Sierra Nevada. Yeah. Shout out to our partners at Water, at Suez.
Great vodka, dude.
Yeah. Shout out to PSE&G for our heat and electricity. And I'll see you on the waivers, guys. Have a blessed week.
Have a great Thursday.